and we are in line 9. When God arose to judgment to deliver all the oppressed of the earth. All right, so let me reread, because that's like the tail end of that stand. So starting at 7, it says, you yourself are to be feared, and who may stand in your presence when once you are angry? Who caused judgment to be heard from heaven? The earth feared and was still when God arose to judgment to deliver all the oppressed of the earth. So that was a continuation where it says you caused judgment to be feared from the heaven. The earth feared and was still when God arose to judgment. So they started paying attention when he arose. Remember, when he stands up, that's when the enemy scattered and everything else. And so when he rose to judgment, okay, and then so that sends us to Psalm 9, 7 through 9. That says, but the Lord shall endure forever. He has prepared his throne for judgment. He shall judge the world in righteousness. He shall administer judgment for the peoples in uprightness. The Lord also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. And notice that he's going to take care of those who are oppressed and broken down. He's going to stand up and he's going to take care of them. So, and he's going to deliver those who are oppressed. And once he do that, he can say Selah. Let's move into our next stanza, one line stanza, line 10. Surely the wrath of man shall praise you. With the remainder of wrath you shall gird yourself. Now this sends us to Romans 9:17, which I thought was kind of interesting on this one. 9:17. That says, for the scripture says to Pharaoh, even for the same purpose I have raised you up, that I might show my power in you, and that my name might be declared in all the earth. And so remember, we read, surely the wrath of man shall praise you. The wrath of man praising God. So when we talk about the wrath of man, that's rebellion. And so that is a form of praise. With remainder of wrath you shall gird yourself. And so, and this is what he's going to do. For the scripture says to Pharaoh, even for this same purpose I have raised you up, that I might show my power in you, and that my name might be declared in all the earth. Because he knew that God knew what he was going to do to Pharaoh. He was going to cut him down. And remember, the enemies can't be cut down if they don't grow up. Romans sends us to Galatians 3:8. That says, and the scripture, foreseeing that God would justify the nations by faith, preached the gospel to Abraham beforehand, saying, and you all the nations shall be blessed. And so, and that's why, they couldn't be you're not blessed when you're in bondage. And so the Israelites had to be freed, because why? That's God, is keeping his word to Abraham. They were in bondage in Egypt. And so being in bondage is not being blessed. Okay, and so Romans also sends us to Exodus 9:16. Exodus 9:16. See, all these scriptures are corroborated, going back and forth from the Old Testament to the New Testament. 9:16, that says, but indeed for this purpose I have raised you up, that I may show my power in you, and that my name may be declared in all the earth. And clearly, that's what God did to Pharaoh. He raised him up to show his power. So, he thought he was being raised up to show Pharaoh, like Pharaoh's rising up, like that's in his own power. Like he was like, really going to go against God? Yeah, right, Pharaoh. Anyway, So we're going to go over because we just got, we're going to have to start because we got a lot of little reference scriptures. So anyway, let me just end here and we'll pick it up in line 11.